What are you doing, Miami? What happened yesterday? I was at the Tennessee game, not the Middle Tennessee game, although there was one of those, as it turns out. I'm at the Tennessee game, and as you do during commercial breaks, I'm scrolling through the iJosh, and I see the score of the Middle Tennessee Miami game. And I write it off as an error. Those things happen sometimes. It is only 2022 after all. And then I see on the ribbon board in Neyland Stadium, it says the same score. At that point, I knew something horrible had happened, but I heard some other people saying, look at that score, it's an error, look at it, it's messed up. That was the consensus in Neyland Stadium, that can't be real. That's it. Middle Tennessee State's not body bagging Miami like that. There's no way. Yeah, they did. Yeah, they kind of did. That's the bad news. The worst news is the box score fully checks out. There was nothing freakish about this. As Mario Cristobal said afterwards, we got out-coached, we got out-physicaled, we got outplayed by whomst? Middle Tennessee State. I think they're like a 6-point dog at home this week. So, yeah, we have, as you would suspect, some things to say about this. They faced man coverage all day against Miami. Miami, understandably, thought we have athletes in our secondary that are good enough to be on scholarship at Miami. They are Middle Tennessee State. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to man up on them all afternoon, which on the surface, given the tradition-rich history of the Miami program, probably makes sense to you. Until the game started, and then you realized, oh boy. And we're watching B-roll from the game yesterday, but Colin probably has about combined 3 minutes of that he can play, because it was just toast job after toast job, man coverage, check the film, there's no sugarcoating it. Those were the words of Mario Cristobal as to why his secondary was basically running second place in a track meet all afternoon. It was abhorrent. It was terrible. It was beyond worst case scenario. Middle Tennessee had 16.3 yards per pass yesterday. If you split that in half, it would figure to be a good day in the passing game for them. Miami was favored by over 3 touchdowns, which explains why everyone thought this score may be a typo. And they just got handled all day. Middle Tennessee never trailed. They forced turnovers on Miami's first 3 possessions. They stopped Miami on downs 3 more possessions. And as for that man coverage that Miami employed, Middle Tennessee had pass completions of 69 yards, 71 yards, 89 yards, and 98 yards. There are a lot of teams out there this year that are going to be really good that will not have pass completions of 89 or more yards all season. And Middle Tennessee had 2 of them yesterday, and another one for 69 and another one for 71. How does it go this poorly? You can talk about injury, and you would be right. You would talk about some depth concerns, you would be right. This is totally like beyond the scope, beyond the pale. I have friends who cover Miami who were at a combined loss for words yesterday. We have obviously a huge contingent of Miami fans who watch the show. And I expected outrage in the inbox and disgust in the inbox. It wasn't that. It was almost as if a bomb went off and you weren't close enough to it to be wiped out, but you were plenty close enough to have the shell shock. And everyone was just kind of, I don't know what to say. What do we do? Where are we at? What is this? That was sort of the aftermath, if you want to call it that, of this football game. So once Miami fans finally did regain their senses a little bit, they talked about Tyler Van Dyke, who was benched yesterday in favor of Jake Garcia, and that's its own little subplot, the quarterback situation at Miami. But also, we have to talk a little bit about the offense down there. There was a big move in the headlines made by Mario Cristobal when he brought Josh Gaddis in. And I think nationally, because you don't watch down to down, everyone probably still thinks that was a big hire. Miami fans know this offense is terrible. And I will second that. The offense sucks. I'm not saying Gaddis does, because that's not the way I look at coaches. But what they're doing offensively, it certainly isn't conducive to putting Tyler Van Dyke in the best position to succeed. Now, some of it's on him. I'm not saying it's not. But, man, it's not like we don't know what the guy's capable of, because we saw it last year. So he's capable of a lot more. What kind of position are you putting him in? And if this just isn't an offense conducive to his skill set, Do you tell him to hit the transfer portal? Obviously, you're not going to do that. I'm speaking rhetorically, but this offense is bad. And what I won't do, I can shed a little light on this now. What I won't do is sit here and have Colin and Jesse dim the lights and go over here and pull out a grease board and start diagramming what the problems are. It's not that kind of show. I'm not equipped nor qualified to do that anyway, and I don't pretend otherwise. But here's what I can do. I can tell you a couple of things that I have not shared before. The first thing is, when Mario hired Josh Gaddis, I had some people hit me up in the coaching community and tell me that move's not going to work out like people think it is, because they saw the headlines and they saw that Miami was being praised for poaching Josh Gaddis, Broyles Award winner, Josh Gaddis away from Michigan. Another coach said, Michigan will not be hurt at all by this, and if you're looking at Michigan now, have you watched them all year and thought to yourself, boy, man, they are missing Josh Gaddis? No. So a lot of what I had told to me has been validated. Again, that's not me watching. That's not me ascribing my opinion on it. I am regurgitating what coaches said to me. And then the second thing I want to tell you is, once we got into the season a little bit, there has not been, forget a week, there has not been a series for Miami hardly that's gone by when they're playing where I haven't had coaches texting me saying, see what I mean? See that? You watching this? You seen what's not happening with Miami? So I know a lot of Miami fans are very upset with the production or lack thereof from the offense so far. I can tell you that your feelings have been echoed by a lot of people with no skin in the game down there, but are in the game as coaches. So either Josh Gaddis is for some reason one of the most hated dudes in all of coaching, or they're just calling it like they see it. And judging by the folks I talk to, because I know who these folks are, I don't think it's the former. I think it's the latter. I just don't think they're very impressed with Josh Gaddis, and certainly you're not impressed with what he's done so far in Miami. I don't know where they're going to go from there. That's bad. It has the chance to snowball. That's the challenge now. Do you isolate that just to being a terrible loss, or does it snowball on you and end up taking your whole season off the cliff? Remains to be seen. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't leave yet. Don't leave yet. Make sure you like the video and please subscribe to the channel. Not just for me. That's how we keep this entire thing free.